I will never forget the very first radio interview of my life. The very first one. I was 16 or 17 years old, and by the end of that interview, I had given up hope on what I thought might be my future. I'm J Loren Norris, Leading Leaders Podcast. I had my trophy from the first place overall and the first place physics for the science fair in high school. And as I was walking out of the gym with my trophies under my arm and my experiment in my hand, the guy from the local radio station stopped me and he said, I was just admiring your model there. Congratulations on your win, but I'm curious how you plan to make it work. And I said, obviously it's going to take a little more work. This is just a model. He said, well, is it a prototype? I mean, I put it on the ground. I'd like to see it actually work. I said, well, I don't have all the bits and pieces necessary to make it work just yet. And he goes, well, see, the problem is that if you actually make that thing work, you will disprove Newton's law of thermodynamics, that everything eventually runs out of power. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to let that stop me. I think it's a great idea, and I think it could save the world from petroleum fuels if we actually pull it off. And he said, I think your car of the future is a joke. Not exactly those words, but pretty close to it. And I let it get inside my head, and I walked out the door, and I threw the car of the future in the dumpster, and I walked away. When I finished my high school career, I had offers for scholarships for music and physics and speech at the University of North Texas, and I didn't take any of them. I went to school for robotics instead. I pretty much gave up, in large part because I was told, you can't do that. You can't be a success at that. That'll never win. It'll never work beyond the imagination in your mind. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody else who's watching today who has been told that'll never work. You're not the one to do it. You're a failure. You're more likely to be in jail than to be on the front page of CEO magazine or Today magazine. Well, show them they're wrong. I think leaders who actually take their place in this world are people who've looked at all of the negative ninnies and all of the dim-witted doubters and said, you know what? I really don't care what your opinion is. Your opinion doesn't shape my future. Oh, it could, but I'm not going to let it. Because I am determined and I am persistent. And the way that I'm going right now might not be exactly right. I might have to adjust a little. And that way may not be exactly right, but I might have to adjust a little. And I might have to adjust a little and adjust a little. But if you watched very precisely an autopilot flying from, say, New York to London, it spends about 97% of its time off course because it's trained to course correct. Good leaders realize I'm a little off course, I need to course correct. But that doesn't mean that they allow the dim-witted downers to say, you're just going to fail at that because you're off course. No, of course I'm off course. I'm learning. Of course I'm off course. I'm discovering. Of course I'm off course. I'm doing what everyone else has said can't be done. I'm doing it. Not watching, not theorizing, not planning anymore. I've done that part. Now I'm doing. And it's going to look weird because I'm out front and no one's ever done this before. It's going to look weird because I'm the first one to pull it off. It's going to look weird because I'm doing it my way. But if you think it can't be done, or if you think it could be done but not by me, here's your ticket. Watch me. I want leaders today who are willing to stand up and say, maybe it has never been done this way before. Maybe I'm blazing a new trail. But think of all of the inventions we have in this world today that we wouldn't have if someone had allowed the negative ninnies to say, you can't do it like that. That doesn't fit the status quo. That doesn't work. What about Rosa Parks? What about the first 4-minute mile? What about all of those new successes that were first-time successes? Everyone said it can't be done until they did. if you're leading today, don't just lead you with a big dose of watch me. Inspire that in the people around you, because I promise you, the people you lead have been told by someone they can't. They shouldn't. They won't. They'll fail. John Maxwell says, view everyone as a 10. Believe the very best in them. And then loan them your belief. I'm J Loren Norris for the Leading Leaders Podcast on Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.